All right, so tonight we are starting. I'm going to let Lynn go for a bit, and we're going to be starting on Fiela second. Okay, so people are still joining. I'm just wanna. There we go. If you have a look in the classroom, I just added it. So if you were in the classroom earlier, you wouldn't have seen it. Fiela second. Now remember, we did the roman and the drama. And just as a reminder, that is all we are doing. We are not doing poems, gedigte. We are not doing short stories, kort verhale. We only doing die drama en die roman. Dis dit. Ek gaan nie nog sukkel met gedigte en kort verhale en als daai nie. Ons gaan net die twee boeke doen. Dis al. Okay. I explained that a little bit last week. I see there's a new person. Jordan Williams. Good afternoon. Good evening. Sorry. Are you new with us? You just joined, so maybe I must give you a moment to just find your feet. Let's see in the contacts. Some of these names look familiar. So Jordan Williams, I'm not sure if you are brand new. If you are, welcome to... Okay, alright, sorry. I know Collins knows the names pat off. I still struggle a little bit. Sorry, Jordan, but thank you. Anyway, if there is any... Shantae Newman, your name sounds very familiar. It's bad that I don't get to know all of you. It's just sometimes too many, but Collins knows your name pat off. Because he types it for receipts and statements and everything. Okay, thank you, Shantae. All right, so you would notice now in the classroom the drama. Now I did, here's the leesboek. Let me put that one down at the bottom. Now I want to point you guys to the fact that nou 'n drama word in tonele gespeel. So jy kry die eerste toneel, die tweede toneel, die derde toneel. And this book, however, is not written in the tonele, in the acts, because you're supposed to get scene 1, act 1, or no, act 1, scene 1, act 2, scene 2, or scene 1, act 3, scene 1. Now there are 3 scenes, okay, and we're going to look at that a little bit later, but this book is just in the form of a story, okay. I wonder, I just want to see quickly, Fiela second audio, Fiela second audio book. There's an audio book. I'm going to look for it to see. This NB Publishers normally sells it. So I'm going to look to see if anybody, maybe somebody's already got it. Yeah, that is to pay. You can get an audio book and I will try and find it. If anyone has it already, please let us know. But I will look. I just thought of it now. An audio book would be really nice for us to have. Anyway, let's go back to the classroom. So this is not, it's in a story format here, narrated. But the way we're supposed to learn it is in the drama form. Okay, where you have, and I will show it to you in the form of a question paper that you can understand what I mean. If we go to paper 2 Afrikaans first editional, you will see that Fiela is on page 29. So let's go straight there. Right. There's 29. And you can see that it's written in the dialogue type of format. So you get Elias says, then Boswachter en so aan. Dis eintlik in die dialogiese formaat. Daar's die een uittreksel en hier's nog 'n uittreksel en jy sal sien dat dit in verskillende hoofstukke in die boek is. Okay? Nou, soos ek in die verlede klasse video gesê het, julle gaan nie hier getoets word op grammatica nie. So you're not going to be tested on grammar like past tense, present tense, verlede. Julle gaan net getoets wees op die drama. Okay? Onthou, Lien is 'n roman. That is a drama. Okay. Now I put it out here. I laid it out. So just remember when you read this, it is not written the way you will see it in the what you call it? In the question paper. Okay. So daar's die leesboek. I don't have it in drama format. So please read the story and you will still get an understanding. Hier is die opsomming van die boek en ons gaan deur hierdie vanaand. Nou, ek wil gou vir julle wys. Dit is net video's, né? Ek wil hê julle moet hierdie video's asseblief kyk. Hierdie een is 24 minute. Daai een is en dit sê vir jou die eerste bedryf, dis die tweede. Okay, so dis die eerste bedryf, Act 1. Dit is die tweede bedryf. Act 2 is here and Act 3 is here, right? So this one is a video. I'm not going to play it now. It's a teacher, Juffrou Nagel, en sy gaan deur die hele boek in hierdie een. Dit is 'n opsomming van die volle boek van begin tot einde. En dan gaan sy ook na, dit is nou die eerste bedryf, Act 1. Okay? And she's explaining it word for word, not word for word, but chapter for chapter, pages, that kind of thing. Okay? And then, nou die bladsy nommer sal nie met julle sin korrespondeer nie, want hulle het mos nou die government gee vir hulle boeke. En dan hier is bedryf 3. Okay? Die derde bedryf. En dan gaan sy ook baie deur al die. Sy's baie goed. Moenie hierdie hoe sê mens, die bladsy nommers kyk nie, want dit gaan nie met hierdie boek ooreenstem nie. Asseblief. Okay? And then this is the entire movie for you to watch. It is on YouTube. It doesn't have subtitles. But if you watch this movie, you'll actually see that it's a very nice rendition of the book. Okay? I will be honest with you guys. I've never read the book. And yet I can answer the last 5, which is what I tell you to do. The last 5 question papers. So don't always take my advice. Read the book. You still got a couple of months to do it, okay? I didn't have that much time. Right. So that's where we at with these 3. Then the one thing we're going to do tonight is, I'm going to open it now. Here we have die opsomming. Okay. I'm just looking at it. It's not. Okay, I'm going to have to modify that copy. I'm not sure why. Just give me a second. Here we go. Okay. So this is a summary of the book. I'll put it up on the board on the classroom as well. Maar ons gaan deur hierdie opsomming van die boek. Ons gaan die verskillende tonele kyk. Die bedryf, okay, the act, and then we're going to understand what Fiela se kind was all about. Generally, let's see if I can make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay. Die drama. Wat is 'n drama? 'n Drama is 'n storie wat geskryf is om deur akteurs opgevoer te word. So in other words, is written so that people can do it on stage. Dit word in dialoogvorm geskryf, soos ek gesê het. Karakterisering en konflik is belangrike tegnieke. Okay. Now, characterization is characterization, putting yourself into the situation. Now, the reading book that we've got does not bring in characterization. Okay. Now, what are they actually referring to? I just want to show you something in a past paper. Right. So, if you look here, Elias probeer opstaan. Now, you wouldn't read that if you were acting it out. It would be the stage production instructions. Stage instructions, what they must do. Giving character to, or giving life to the story. I'm going to show you in the other one also. Yeah. Katrien, uit die veld geslaan. She's flabbergasted. Dankie, with gratitude. Yeah. Sy wys vaag weg bo langs. Now, they might ask you, what is the purpose of the words in brackets and in italics? Then you will need to say, dit vertel die leser wat die persoon doen. Dit is eintlik toneelinstruksies, hoe die karakter moet optree. Things like that, okay? So that could be a possible question. I just want to see if there's more. Yeah. Let's see. I just want to see. Okay, I just wanted to see if I will see it in this paper, but I'm not finding something like that at this point in time. Okay, let's just move on, because when we answer the question papers, we'll get there again. Okay, let's go back here. There, okay. Alhoewel 'n drama opgevoer behoort te word, kan 'n mens ook die teks of geskrewe weergawe lees en jou die handeling verbeel. Now, this is what we are doing. Okay? The fact that we don't have the book in a drama form, it says you can read, even though it's supposed to be written in a play format, you can read the text, which is what I've given you. Van die geskrewe, the written account, and jou die handeling verbeel, then you can imagine the dramatization and all of that is taking place. Hoe moet ek onderrig? Pre-lees. Activeer voorkennis. So, you need to read it the first time. Now, I don't think we're all going to read it the second time and the third time. Lees, let op hoe woordkeuse, taalgebruik, beelde en sovoort die betekenings van teks beïnvloed, van die teks, gebruik leesbegripsstrategieë. So, it is analyzing the way we analyze comprehension. So, let's look at, and that is what question papers do for you. So, how are you going to do what they are saying here? Just do past papers, okay? Then, Die postlees beskou en beoordeel die teks in geheel. So now you look at the text in totality, now that you've understood the character, the way they taalgebruik, how they're using language, the images that it creates, all of that. Once you can identify the imagery, the tone, all of those things, then you'll be able to understand the story in a better light. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this except for just literaire kenmerke. Now, this is got to do with, okay, literary characteristics. So it's things like, is there a lot of contrast? Is there irony? Is there all those words that we need to learn, but you don't have to focus on it too much. But to understand the story, you need to know how's the movement of the story. Does it go backwards? Does it go forwards? Is it just a story? Do they remember and paint the picture backwards? That kind of thing. Verwikkeling, how does it actually develop? Climax, is there a climax to the story? Is it an anticlimax? All those kinds of things. Ontknoping, I'm not sure what that is. And then the conclusion. But don't worry about this one too much. Now, this is how all dramas are written. It starts here with the introduction, 8-1 setting, how it starts. Then it builds up to a climax and it comes down to an anticlimax or ontknoping. That's what they mean. So it's the conclusion, the slot. Okay? No, I don't want you to know all this. Yeah. Let's go here. Characterisering. We're going to look at the characters and then we're going to see who they are and what they do. Let's just go further here. Yeah, let me introduce the characters to you first. Okay, so you need to understand the story. Some of you may know it. How many of you have read the story? Please raise your hand. You may have read it years back or watched the movie years back. Celine Sherty Richards was famous for Fiela se kind. Somebody raised a hand. Okay. Let's just see. Okay. I can't see where the raised hands are. Let me just see the chat again. No. Alright, no problem. Whoever raised the hand dropped it again, no problem. So, in the top right hand corner here, this is Fiela Komoti. So, you're going to understand the characters. I'm going to get you a character list. I just want to see if I have one. I'm sure I had one. Yes, here we go. No, they're not. This is just, I can't remember all the information that I had. So just give me a section. I will find it for you again. I don't want to give you unnecessary things. Fiela di drama. Okay, that is what we are on now. That's the book. Let's just see what this is. Okay, here's a whole summary of the entire book and of the different the scenes in Afrikaans and English. Okay, this will be brilliant to give to you guys. I can't remember all that. Okay, so it's not that. I thought it was the same. So I'll have to save this. And Let me work on this first. I just want to save it as PDF. I'm gonna file print. I would rather give you this summary because it's a really good one. Where are we now? Okay, let me just act and scene summary, English and Afrikaans. Okay, there we go. So now I can open it and there. Let's look at this rather. So here is the introduction, right, in English, and then later on there's the whole summary, introduction and summary, and then here is every act that you can find. So I would suggest if you're going to print this out because it's a summary of the acts and it is in Afrikaans and there's the English version of it. Okay, so if you know this, so here's the characters. All right, so if you know, this is like what we did with Lynn, but with Lynn it was much more. So kom ons kyk gou die karakters van die storie. Lucas, laat ek dit gou groter maak en regs, so you can see it better. Okay, I just want you to see it like that. Okay, there we go. Right, so Lucas van Rooyen, of hy was op het kol was hy Lucas genoem en ander kant was hy Benjamin genoem. So dis Benjamin Komoti of Komuti en dan is dit Lucas van Rooyen. So hy gaan na twee families toe in die storie. Op die een kant is dit 'n Komoti familie en die ander kant is die van Rooyens. Ek gaan dit gou vir julle uitteken. Kom ons doen dit gou so. Okay, so the story is in two parts. Die Komotis, die van die mense en die van Rooyen familie. Okay, so ek gaan hier skryf twee families. So die storie gaan oor twee families. Dit is oor, jy kry vir Fiela is die ma. Wat is die pa se naam nou weer? Ek gaan nou kyk. Selang. Is die pa. Aan die van Rooyen kant is dit Elias. Is die pa. En kan nou nie die vrou se naam onthou nie. Is seker die kant. Parta. Okay. Parta is die ma. En dan het hulle ander kinders. Nou, hulle het ander kinders. Nou, ek gaan eers hier sit in 'n verskillende kleur. Gaan ek die een seun wat deur al twee families geworstel is. Op hierdie kant is sy naam Benjamin. So dis die een seun, hè, dis net een persoon. En op hierdie kant word hy Lukas genoem. Okay? So dis dieselfde kind, maar op die Komoti se kant word hy Benjamin genoem, op die ander kant word hy Lukas genoem. Dan het hulle ook 'n sussie, Nina, sy suster. En ek dink daar's 2 broers hier ook. Dan is hier ander kinders soos David, of kom ek kyk gou weer. Ek het dit lanklaas gedoen. Nina van Rooyen. Sorry, laat ek gou net kyk. O ja, okay, dis die van Rooyen se kant. Het ek dit reg geskryf? Ja, Nina van Rooyen, dis reg. And then, let's just see what other characters they give. Doesn't seem like there's too many. Okay, so for now, those are the main characters. Hoekom ek van David geskryf het, is omdat David, sy broer gaan dood in hierdie storie, wat baie hartseer bring. But as we go through the book, we will understand a little bit more. There's also, so those are the families, right? Let me go back here. Then you get die census manne. Okay. Hulle is langer en iemand anders. Kom ons kyk gou hier. Ons was hier op hierdie 2. Ek gaan die name weer kry. So daar's hierdie 2 mense, die census manne. They come to collect census. I don't know if you guys remember that we used to have census. People used to come to our doors and count how many people is in the house, how many people work, how many children, who's the parents, there was a time that they used to come to our door, then they put a sticker to say that you were counted, so that other people couldn't come and count you guys again. And we weren't allowed to take those stickers off the doors. This is Fiela Komoti. Here, Benjamin in this scene, he is still a Komoti here. He hasn't left home yet. Okay, here's some characters. Die hoofkarakter is Benjamin. Newe karakters, which is secondary characters, is Fiela, Elias, Bartus, Selling en Nina. Die lange en die dikke, die magistraat, tannies in die bos. So it is lange en dikke. Can you believe they called them lange en dikke? Okay. Yeah. Now these are other characters that we are going to come across. Is Khalil, John, Ben, en daar's nog 'n dame wat Nina by werk. But I'm just going to take into account now Khalil and John, Ben. So this is in the later years after Benjamin runs away from the Van Rooyens. Okay, so these people are John, Ben. They teach him things, and Khalil, one of his friends. Okay, so now I'm going to quickly draw you a picture of what happens. Let me do it in purple. So Benjamin starts here with the Kamortis, and up to the age of, I can't remember, I think it's 11. But he starts at 5 years old here with the Kamortis. He suddenly pitches on their doorstep at about the age of 5. He stays with them for 6 years approximately, and then they uproot him and they take him to the Van Rooyen family because their son disappeared. They don't know whether he died, or they just think at the age of 5, he disappeared and found his way at Fiela's house. So their son disappeared, and they thought Benjamin was their Lucas. Then, due to lots of fighting and abuse, he leaves the Van Rooyens. He runs away, and this is where he lands up with those people. Okay, so that is basically his life. And when he's about 18 and he's now a grown man, he realizes, no way, I'm going back to my mother, to the Kamortis, because he's got land there that he owns. So he goes back to his own land. And so that is basically the story. It's like a circle where he comes full circle to the Kamortis again, because that is who he believes he is and where he belongs. Okay, so that is just a bit of an outline of how the story unfolds. Okay, so there we go. Die Kamorti gesin, Fiela en Selling Kamorti, mom and dad, Benjamin Kamorti, and here David, Tolly, Kitty, and Emma, and of course Benjamin. So there's the children, David, Tolly, Kitty, Emma. Let's quickly go write that on there. Even though they don't really feature that much. Davi features a bit. So it's Davi, Tolly, Emma, and what is the other one I heard? Kitty. Yeah. Okay, those are the children. Let me write here, kinders. Alright, then, so there's some scenes from the movie of how they grow up and what they all do. Now, die is die Van Rooyen gesin. Elias die pa, Bartha die ma, Nina die sister, and then Willem Christoffel. I'm just going to add that there. Die kinders hier. En Willem en Christoffel. Okay. This family grows up with a lot of love and caring. Yes, teaching, but a lot of love and caring in the Kamorti family. Fiela teaches the children well. She disciplines the children, but she loves them. And they a very happy family, always playing and whatever. This family, the father abuses his children and makes them work as slaves. If they don't work, he beats them. Okay, so very harsh, very hard father. Okay, drinks too much sometimes. Right, so there's those characters. Now these are the places that you need to know. So they grew up Lange Kloof. I'll just put it on the picture here as well. Die Komoties. Lange Kloof. Die Van Rooyens. Knysna Bos. Knysna. Die Knysna Bos. Okay, that is their home where they stay. Okay, so symboliseer liefde, deernis, omgee, veiligheid. There we go, it explains that. Also, Wolwekraal is another name, Lange Kloof. Wolwekraal. Let me just write that in case you get confused. Wolwekraal. There's no name for Knysna Bos, but they stay in Wolwekraal, Lange Kloof. Knysna Bos, die bos is ryk en ondeurdringbaar. Bosbewoners is uiters armoedig, symboliseer gevaar en mishandeling van kinders. Okay, there we go, abuse, mishandeling. Die seeruimte, now this is the third area. So this part, if you go further down, I should actually have drawn this here. He's 18 years here. I'm going to erase it from there. And then he goes back. So sorry, my arrows didn't go down far enough. Okay. That is where those arrows should actually have been. Yeah. Because it's these people, the census manne, that actually removes Benjamin. Those people here. They're the ones that take Benjamin to the that place. Anyway. Let me just quickly take this away. Okay. Because they think this census people, they're saying, how can a white child grow up with a colored family? Something went wrong and the white family lost their children. Okay, I was going to write that this happened. Die seeruimte. Hoofrolspelers is John Ben en Khalil September. Dit symboliseer oopte. Lucas kan die sterre sien en besef dat hy Nina lief het. We're going to look at that. Maar hoor ook die tyding van sy broer se dood. Okay, so I want to put in here, as I wrote above there, this place here is die see. I'm going to put here die seeruimte. He escapes to the sea. And that is where he discovers that, well, he fell in love with his sister. This sister here, Nina. Benjamin falls in love with her. But he's feeling so guilty about it because it's his sister. How can he fall in love with his sister? Anyway, he didn't ask for it. So he lives in shame quite a bit. Okay, so I'm not going to go, here's kindermishandeling, some of the pictures, you'll see it in the scenes, die Oudtshoorn en Volstruis boerdery teenoor die Knysna Bos. Okay, so, die Komotie familie, hulle boer met volstruise, ostriches, en in Knysna is meer van 'n hoe kan die mens sê? It's not the elephants. It's more of a cultural forest type of thing. Okay. Daar's konflik. Ons gaan dit weer kyk. Ons praat van die sensusmanne. Hulle neem vir Benjamin na die magistraat toe, want hulle wil nou kyk of Benjamin wie se kind is Benjamin. So the magistrate has to now decide. Okay, so here's scenes where they come and they remove Benjamin from the Komoti family, much to Fiela's dismay. Here's he sitting in between the two census people, Lange and Dikke. Hier is die scenes in die hof, tonele in die hof. Daar's Bartha en Elias wat voorkom, en Bartha sê dit is my kind wat weggeraak het. Dis die magistraat hierbo. Hier's Bartha, en Bartha moet die kind uitken uit 4 kinders. Okay? And there's some scenes also. Die aankoms van Benjamin by die Van Rooyens, sy nuwe familie. So remember what I was saying? First he was with the Komotis. So I'm showing you this side here in the left. So from 5 till about 11, 12 years old, he was with the Komotis. Then the census people took them first to the judge, and then the judge sent him to the Van Rooyens because they claimed that was their child. So that's how it plays out. And then he runs away. This is where he's first there. He encounters Nina and his other brothers. Here he runs away. Lucas loop weg, word gevang en geslaan. And eventually Nina helps him to escape finally. I'm not going to go through all of that right now. We can come to that again towards the end of the drama. Okay, so we'll look at this again towards the end. But when we come back, it's now 7. We're just going to read through the introduction. They don't actually have it in Afrikaans in such. Yeah, they've only got it in English. Yeah, so I'm going to read the summary in English just to get an understanding of the story, and then we can end the class. Right, so South African author Dalian Matthias' novel Fiela se Kind, 1985, set in 19th century, which is the 1800s. Okay, they talking nonsense. It's not the 19th century, is the 1800s, but yeah, they're saying 19. It's actually in the 20th century. Let me correct this. '20th century. I just know that from history. So I think whoever wrote this summary wrote it incorrect. Okay. Tells the story of Fiela Komoti, a black native woman who one day finds, now you see even here, a black native. Now, coloreds at that time were also considered black. It was only white and black, right? So a black native woman who one day finds a white infant on her doorstep, young child. Fiela takes the baby in. He wasn't a baby because he actually walked. He came there quite dirty, or that's what they think, alright? Fiela takes the baby in, names him Benjamin, and cares for the child as if he were her own for nearly a decade, for 10 years. So he must have been about 15 when he left. After 9 years, Benjamin is confiscated by 2 census takers who believe the boy is the long-lost son of a white family. Determined to reunite, both Fiela and Benjamin go through a heart-wrenching journey of fear, uncertainty, identity, belonging, racial prejudice, class discrimination, misogyny. Now, misogyny is it's male domination, if I'm not mistaken. Just give me a second. I don't know what is liminality, so let's just go Google it. Okay, now let me do one at a time. So misogyny is hatred or prejudice against women. Okay? And then the other one, liminality. A quality of being in between two places or stages on the verge of transitioning to something new. There's a liminality to the brief moment between asleep and okay. So basically, it's obviously because Benjamin is so confused as to where he's going, and then ultimately love and redemption. Originally written in Afrikaans, Fiela se Kind was later translated to English, French, German, Italian, and many other languages under the title Fiela's Child. The novel was also adapted into a feature film in 1988. The narrative begins on a farm in Wolwekraal, situated in the Knysna Forest of South Africa. Fiela Komoti, a native black woman, spends much of her time tending to a farm and selling ostrich feathers to provide her family a comfortable living. On the farm, Fiela also milks goats, harvests aloe, raises chickens, and sells animal skins. Since race relations between blacks and whites are still volatile, now this is 1988, and we are talking about apartheid came into play 1948, and it was only 1994. So 88 is 6 years before the end of apartheid. Okay. So since racial relations between blacks and whites are still volatile, owning a farm as a black African woman is no small feat. In other words, it's a tough task. When Fiela isn't tending to the fields, she's keeping an eye on her children, Kitty, David, that should be an I, Emma, and Tolly. Fiela's ex-con husband, Selang, becomes too ill to help run the farm. One day, out of nowhere, a 3-year-old white boy, my apologies, he was only 3 years old. Let me erase this and write it as 3 years old. Okay. Without a note, I'm reading here now. Without a note or a clue as to how we got there, Fiela takes the boy in without a second thought. She begins to care for the boy intimately, as if he were her own flesh and blood. Fiela names the boy Benjamin and proceeds to raise and educate him for 9 years. Okay, there we go. So therefore he is 12 when he actually leaves their house. I will put that picture up on the classroom afterwards. Benjamin here. Indeed, Benjamin never would have received the same open-minded education had he lived with a white family. Obviously, because he's white, so he will be raised as a white boy. But now he's understanding the black side of things also. He assimilates his new family members and black community without a hitch. He becomes one of Fiela's own. 9 years later, a pair of government census takers shows up at Fiela's farm, already suspicious of a white boy living with a black family in inappropriate dynamic given the racially segregated country. Fiela's greatest nightmare comes to fruition. The census takers rip Benjamin away from Fiela, placing him in the custody of the Van Rooyen family, a white clan of backwoods lumberjacks. Elias and Bertha van Rooyen claim that Benjamin is their long-lost son Lucas, who went missing in the forest 9 years ago. Despite the skeleton of a small child being discovered 7 months after Lucas's disappearance, the authorities still believe Benjamin could be the missing boy. Now listen to this. They actually find a skeleton of a small child in the forest 7 months after he disappears, but they still believe that Benjamin is the Van Rooyen's boy. But the Van Rooyen's boy actually died. Although Fiela knows in her heart that Benjamin is not Lucas, she can do nothing but watch the government take her beloved child away from her. Fiela makes an impassioned plea to Mr. Goldsberry, the Landros magistrate, to allow Benjamin to remain in her care. Mr. Goldsberry denies Fiela, ordering Benjamin to live with the white Van Rooyen family. Now forced to adapt to a way of life he does not know, 12-year-old Benjamin struggles with his sense of identity and place in the world. Bounded by the dark forest woods, starkly opposed to the open farmland of the Lange Kloof region, Wolvekraal, they spelled it wrong. Benjamin can't quite adjust to his new environment. The Van Rooyen foist a new identity on the boy, calling him Lucas and forcing him to be someone he is not. Although the Van Rooyen's whiteness is deemed superior, it becomes clear Benjamin's life has changed for the worse. As time goes on, Elias becomes more abusive towards Benjamin. Elias greedily exploits his sons, including Benjamin, for his own personal enrichment. During a hunting expedition to procure ivory tusks, Elias is almost trampled to death by an elephant. After that, also the elephants are in the Knysna forest and they steal the tusks for ivory. Now we know that was illegal. After that, Elias lives in fear of elephants. Elias is also a misogynist, women mean nothing, abuser, and treats his wife and daughters ruthlessly. He berates his daughter Nina for being stupid, feckless, and constantly nagging. Over the course of several months living with the Van Rooyen family, Benjamin realizes he wants no part of their way of life. Benjamin longs for his old ways in Wolvekraal. Despite developing romantic feelings for Nina, here he falls in love with his sister, who may or may not be his sister. Benjamin's sense of impropriety and displacement becomes too strong to ignore. Benjamin is ordered to visit a courthouse where he sits amongst scoffing strangers and reflects on his own identity. All Benjamin wants is the freedom to choose his place in the world. This notion of choosing who and what to be plays to the theme of liminality. He's not sure which side does he belong. Benjamin takes up sailing at one point, learning how to row from a sailor named Khalil September, and works on the ship for Captain John Ben. So remember these characters. It's a sailor named Khalil September, and Captain John Ben is obviously the captain of the ship. Although raised by a population deemed inferior by white authorities, Benjamin, now a young man, comes to realize that this kind of institutional racism is immoral and fallacious. In the end, Benjamin breaks free from the imprisonment of the Van Rooyen family and white society at large. Benjamin follows his heart, used to the sense of morality instilled in him by Fiela, and returns to the place he knows best and loves most, the Komoti family. Above all else, Fiela se kind exemplifies the triumph of love over racial difference. And that is it. It is 8 o'clock. When we come back, we will start on this. I'm going to upload this in the meantime, but then we will start on this summaries. All right, thank you very much, everybody. I hope you